Good morning. Oh, I got a little bit of an echo here. um, how's everybody doing this morning? This is my first attempt at a live stream, and it's definitely an interesting experience so far. OBS is definitely quite. Hold on a second. I'm going to see. I'm getting an echo here. Test. Hello, hello. Anyways, how's everybody doing out there? Oh, I'm getting a warning. Was it current byte rate? That's weird. Um, so I have no idea what to expect. Here, I'm over from TikTok. I've kind of um, joined the group of refugees coming over from TikTok. A lot of people that I know, a lot of streamers, have decided to exit stage left and move on forward to other apps. And I can't say that I blame them, especially with the terms of service update that's happening supposedly this weekend. God only knows what's going to happen with that. Apparently, from what I'm hearing, is that it's going to pretty much make it impossible for people to say anything like words. We're already censored to death over there. Certain words cannot be used, especially on lives and stuff like that. So we're probably going to have to invent a whole new language, complete with code words and cheat sheets for everybody just to understand what's going on. So who knows what's going to happen with that. Um, it's I don't even know if TikTok is going to be a viable a viable app in a few months. I guess that's what the consensus is at this point, is that nobody knows what to expect. And I think that's why a lot of creators are getting out of Dodge at this point. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. So yeah, it's funny. I was practicing in front of the mirror this morning. And it's kind of weird being live. So, kind of bear with me. This is something that I kind of do in my spare time. I figured it'd be interesting to just test out the software this morning and see how it goes and stuff like that. And just, I don't know if I'm getting, oh, okay, I'm green now. That's kind of weird. But so yeah, I mean, last night I kind of did a couple of tests with it. Just kind of tried to see how it was with the mic, because I went and bought kind of a cheap mic. I didn't really want to invest a lot of money because, again, this is not something that I do full time. This is, I have my own business and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that, this can be something that I just do for fun. So speaking of which, I think one of the accounts that I follow, Talking Atheist, is on here as well. He was on TikTok last night talking about how he got shadow banned. And yeah, I mean, I got shadow banned too. The sad thing is about TikTok is that I just got monetized about a month ago. And, I knew this was going to happen. I knew TikTok was going to do some weird stuff. And I mean, not that I want to get paid by doing this, because I have no expectations of doing that, but I had a video go viral a couple of weeks ago, and I had absolutely nothing to show for it. And my viewership has actually dipped to half. So I definitely believe I got shadow banned, just like the Happy Atheist did. And, you know, it's like, whatever, we'll just go somewhere else. And this seems to be, something I would give a try and see what happens. I'm discovering that YouTube is a whole different animal from TikTok. So, the only thing that I'm seeing is that it's just it's a completely different animal. And I have no expectations. I woke up one day and I had like 2,000 followers, and I'm like, or 2,000 subscribers, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird. Probably on the strength of some of the shorts that I posted a few weeks ago, because I've had this channel for a while. I just have never done anything with it, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, anyways, I'm the Mouthy Christian. I'm the Mouthy Christian on TikTok, and I've been doing TikTok for, I don't know, just under a year. I only really seriously started doing it right around the election time, as most people started doing their TikToks around then. Well, I wouldn't say most people, but TikTok really, a lot of people who are new to TikTok really started kicking off around the election and stuff like that. And I find that, I started slowly growing an audience over there, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of fun. And, if, was kind of being snarky about it, and, um, just trying to have fun with it. And, the one thing that I'll tell you about my name a little. I am a Christian, or I should say a Christ follower, not a Christian, because I feel like that word has been tainted by Christian nationalists, who have basically taken over the faith and bastardized it into something weird. And so part of my shtick is to call out the hypocrisy of what I've been seeing with the Christian church, and those who are practicing and stuff like that. So, hence the mouthy Christian. I don't. Right now, I don't actively. I mean, we do watch church services, but we don't actively go to church, just because we're a bit disillusioned by what's been going on with the Christian church and what's been happening. We were part of several evangelical churches for a while. Once we lived in Rhode Island, and we went to a church that was semi-mega. I would say definitely a mega church, like mega church, like mega, like big, but also MAGA too. There's a lot of MAGA there. And we just never felt fully comfortable at that church. My husband and myself, I mean, we weren't married at the time, but both of us, we're middle-aged people who don't have kids. So one of the things that, the church kind of observed was, or thought about us, is that since we were single or just dating and didn't have kids, we had all the time in the world. And that's not necessarily the case. I mean, single people who don't have kids are busy too. We're just busy doing different things. And we were volunteering enough, and yet we were made to feel that we weren't doing enough. Constantly guilted, constantly being told that we were not being, I guess, obedient enough would be the phrase. And we definitely had to come to terms with the fact that this was just not. We were just not very happy with how we were being treated. And we noticed that from as we moved to different campuses, some were worse than others. We started hearing stories, and our experiences are nothing compared to the stories that we've heard from other people, about abuse, about money being a thing. That's another thing that was pushed on us quite a bit, is that they really pushed tithing and money and giving above and beyond, and trying to convince people to give more. And God, we were giving a lot. We were giving a lot, and still being told that it was not enough. Like, we had to suffer, basically. Like, it was almost like the name of the game was to make those who were attending suffer. And whether it was intentional or not, unintentional or whatever, was besides the point. And then this last church that we were going to was better, but we noticed as the church was as the church was growing. Sorry, I got tongue-tied there. We noticed as when the church was growing, things started changing, and it started getting more of a corporate feel to it. And this was marked by the arrival of a certain family that had corporate church written all over them. And unfortunately, it started changing. And this was right around the time that COVID hit. So it was almost like a confluence of events, almost like a perfect storm. And we were part of the production team. And production, you're doing all the services. I was a camera operator and a switcher. I hated switching. Switching was stressful. I didn't want to do that, but they didn't have anybody else who wanted to do it. And for Sunday services, you had to be there at the church at 6:30 a.m. on Sunday. And we were there at the church until sometimes 12:30, 1 o'clock, which is like a full day of work. And my husband and myself, um, we had no time, basically no time to recover from the week. Um, my husband works a very physical job, so he's physically exhausted. And I had a job at the time that was emotionally draining on me. And for us, it was just too much. And then all of this, I mean, there's been stuff coming out for years, but, things started coming to a head for us when we started hearing stories about cover ups and all that kind of stuff. And my husband and myself decided that, this is the ironic thing is that we're we're being more intentional about our faith more than we've ever been. We've had to find new ways to practice our faith. So we've been much more intentional. So I would say, like, even though we're no longer attending church, um, we're, our faith has never been stronger. It kind of ironic that way, but that's the the consensus I'm hearing is um, that's the consensus I'm hearing from people who have left the church and that are not like there are people who are obviously going through deconstruction, and there are other people who are just kind of feeling lost, but we're finding community in each other. And funny enough, a lot of the community that I've found has been on TikTok. I've connected with a lot of cool people on TikTok and some organizations, and I definitely feel that we're being drawn together, and I definitely feel that 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 I mean, I'm an empath, so I feel like I'm being drawn to certain people, and the 4 a.m. club is a club that is a group of people that I follow on TikTok, and I watch their videos. There seems to be like an energy that's drawing people together, and we're definitely being herded towards each other for a reason. So it's pretty interesting to see that happening. Um, I definitely feel encouraged uh, by the fact that I'm seeing these communities come together. Unfortunately, it's under some pretty strenuous circumstances, but I'm definitely happy to see it happening. I was telling a friend the other day, I'm sorry that we have to meet under these circumstances, but it's something that I'm definitely feeling good about and encouraged by. So I definitely feel good for the last, gosh, it's I don't know data. Okay. Am I being received? Oh, okay. Here we go. I'm getting all kinds of stuff from OBS, so I'm not sure how I'm being received on the other end here. Hopefully the reception isn't too bad. It's kind of all over the place, so I might have to make some adjustments, but I'm definitely I'm feeling drained and exhausted the last 6 months. I feel like I've definitely aged like 10 years in 6 months. And how I've been coping with what's been going on in this country has been, posting shorts on TikTok and just trying to find community with like-minded people and stuff like that, because it's just too much. I have to applaud some of these TikTok creators who do these lives every day. I don't know how they do it. I do not have the bandwidth, the emotional bandwidth to be able to handle some of the stuff, some of the people that have been going into those lives. I lurk lives a lot on TikTok just to, sometimes occasionally I might go into a panel, but I don't do it lately because I'm just done. I'm tired of talking to these people because there's no talking to them. The ones that are left, the ones that are doubling down, the ones that are still kind of that are ride or die. There's no talking to them at this point. At this point, they just have to find out. There's this kind of like the find out phase of the fuck around and find out. Pardon my French. You'll find that I swear. I do swear occasionally. So, but I find that they're in the find. They have to find out. At this point, there's no reasoning with them. There's no talking to them. There's nothing that can be said or done. So at this point, I'm just kind of like, nah, whatever. Find out, guys. Find out. Like just like the Arkansas farmers who are asking for a handout. It's like, no. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps, guys. Find other ways. the information is out there if you wanted to educate yourself about what you were voting for. You just chose not to, or you just chose to take POTUS at his word. And the thing is that the difference between MAGA and non-MAGA is that non-MAGAs don't worship politicians. I don't trust politicians. I don't worship them. I don't take them at their word. I do my best to educate myself. So um, that's a huge difference. And speaking of MAGA, like with the outflowing of creators that are planning on leaving TikTok because of the terms of service update, I don't know what MAGA is going to do, because MAGA's modus operandi on TikTok seems to be going into leftist lives, moderate lives, and independent lives and crashing out. So I don't know what they're going to do when all the leftist creators leave, because it's going to be it can't, from what I'm understanding, it can't be fun hanging out in MAGA land if they're constantly going into non-MAGA lives, trying to, I have no idea, uh, trying to figure out why nobody wants to hang out with them. Well, it's because nobody wants to hang out with your energy. Nobody, that energy is exhausting. Nobody wants to be around it. And they can't understand why. And, once all these creators leave TikTok, I don't know what they're going to do. Life is going to be boring. They're going to probably follow them like they did. They followed everybody over to Blue Sky after everybody left X. So that's probably what's going to happen. The funny thing is now is that the narrative, there's a funny narrative that's being pushed, or that was being pushed by Mike Johnson, that like ridiculous narrative that Trump was an FBI informant for against Jeffrey Epstein, which, everybody who is non-MAGA, anybody who with half a brain knows that that's absolutely ridiculous. And if there was a possibility, even a remote possibility of that being true, um, I think that, being an FBI informant is not necessarily the flex that people think it is. Being an FBI informant means that the FBI has dirt on you and they're willing to cut a deal to get a bigger fish. So, I mean, if we all remember, one of the most famous FBI informants was Henry Hill. If you guys know the movie Goodfellas, it's about Henry Hill, loosely based on Henry Hill. And, he turned rat and became a professional informant, and ended up helping to take down the Lucchese crime family. But I mean, and and Henry Hill, even though he's probably one of the most famous FBI informants, was not a good person. He was a reprehensible human being who did a lot of bad things to people. So being an FBI informant is not necessarily the flex that you think it is. Speaking of Henry Hill, there's a really great 30 for 30 that talks about the Boston College um, uh, um, sports bet, the fixing of the games that Henry Hill was involved in, that actually led to a series of events that caused the fall of the Lucchese crime family. Got to check that out. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a great 30 for 30 episode, and it talks about what players of Boston College were involved in the fixing of the games and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Henry Hill, you watch him on that 30 for 30. He is not a good person, and he did not do good things. So, um, yeah, that's and now of course they're walking back that narrative that Trump was an FBI informant. But of course on TikTok, as I saw the other day, and a lot of people are covering this, that there are MAGA creators who are just taking it and running with it, taking the ball and running with it, which is absolutely ridiculous. I can't even. I mean, no scrutiny. They just go with it. They were just waiting for some kind of breadcrumb to be thrown to them to take and run with, and they've just taken it and run with it. And it's ridiculous. I mean, those are the people that I was just talking about that I think are at this point. They just have to find out. There's no reasoning with those people. They're people that are just kind of beyond help at this point. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? To be honest with you, I honestly think that. I mean, who knows? I mean, right now everybody's gearing up for midterms and stuff like that, and. I mean, the funny thing is that about this Hyundai plant that the um, the congressional candidate who went on TikTok and flexed that she was the one who called ICE on the Hyundai plant, um, is getting raked over the coals. Um, I mean, and justifiably so. She probably cost her state 8,500 jobs and a huge investment from Hyundai. And now, not only that, but apparently other projects that South Korea has invested in are in jeopardy. So, I mean, imagine being that person. Imagine being that person. And she's doubling down and tripling down. She went on TikTok and bragged about it and flexed on it as if it was some kind of a flex. And the sad thing is, and I have to agree with some of my commenters who commented on my video about this the other day, that yeah, unfortunately, there are going to be people who vote for her. I don't think, as a whole, if she's costing her state, um, and indeed, I mean, I doubt the Trump administration is happy about this. They were looking for part of the tariff, like part of that investment was supposedly this whole deal from the tariffs, for relief from the tariffs. Um, so POTUS and the administration can't be happy about this because part of their plan, so-called plan, I mean, if you can call it that, was to encourage, um, I guess, companies to build their factories here and hire American workers and all that kind of stuff. So I think she done fucked up completely, to be honest with you. So who knows what's happening with that. Anyways, yeah, it's interesting. I'm getting, occasionally I'll get warnings from YouTube, but I'm still getting excellent feedback, or not excellent, but like apparently still green on my screen. So it seems to be looking good. But to be honest with you, I was a bit nervous this morning about doing a live because I've never done live before. And I had no idea what to expect. I had no idea what was going to happen from this. But excuse me, just trying to get my feet warm, dip my foot in the pool and stuff like that before I start my real job this morning. And just wanted to give it a shot, shot and see what happens. Anyways, yeah, gosh, it's already been a half hour, man. One thing I was worried about is like, what am I going to talk about? As you can see, I kind of squirrel from topic to topic. That's one thing. I'm a little bit neurodivergent, so I tend to jump all over the place. So I know sometimes people say they have a hard time keeping up with me in the topic changes and stuff like that. But, and also too, I was worried about doing lives because I'm not sure if I have bandwidth to do it. I'm kind of, I'm socially, I'm an introvert. So believe it or not. So this is something that's kind of like a big stretch for me. This is me going out of my comfort zone big time. I've been on screen before, but I decided for the live streams that I wasn't going to do that, at least not for now. But, as to what frequency I'm going to stream live, I'm not sure. It depends. But we'll see what happens. I definitely find this to be a very interesting format. And, YouTube is a whole different animal from TikTok. So I honestly don't have any idea what to expect from this. But one day, I mean, like I said, I've had this YouTube channel for quite a while. I just have not done anything with it. And when I started a couple of weeks ago, started moving some of my TikTok content over to this, I woke up one day and I had 2,000 subscribers, which was kind of interesting. Based on the strength of some of my videos and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. I definitely, talking into a mic and talking to myself is kind of weird. I can definitely say that. It's kind of a new experience for me. I've never done TikTok lives. I was thinking about doing them for a while, but I was kind of nervous about that. I still might do that, depending with the new terms of service that are coming up. I have no idea if that's going to be a viable thing for me anymore because I most definitely will say something that will probably get my live taken down because I even though I try to check myself, especially if I'm online live or if I'm talking or anything like that online, I definitely try to make sure that I use words that are not going to get me struck. But, sometimes it's like if you're talking, you get on a roll and things just kind of come out organically. So we'll see what happens. I am definitely feeling like this is something that I like doing for fun. I definitely like, uh, talking about pop culture stuff, current events, all that kind of stuff. So um, it's kind of like one of those things where I definitely want to talk about current events. I definitely want to talk about, you know, uh, things that are going on in the world. I know people are just kind of tired about that. And my actual aim for my YouTube is to kind of make it a place where people can come and vent their frustrations, and have it be a safe space. And like I said, one of my biggest things is calling out, um, you know, Christians, on their bullshit, on their hypocrisy. Um, the churches themselves really need to come to Jesus. They really do. Um, it has gotten so far away from what Christ stands for that I can't even I can't even it's not recognizable to me anymore. Um, some of the people that I knew are unrecognizable to me. The one thing that a lot of people have been doing to protect their peace is, uh, you know, cutting people out who, are bringing that MAGA energy or are part of MAGA. And luckily, our circle is that small, and we don't, I've never really, it's never been a problem for me or my husband because we just don't associate with people like that. Because being MAGA is a symptom of a bigger problem with some people. Like it's just MAGA has given them a permissive atmosphere to, um, indulge in their worst impulses. And throughout my life, I just never have been around people like that. So I've never really actually had to cut people off. I come from a very, like, um, my parents are very open minded people. They're very supportive. Of course, they have their opinions on everything, but they will always, um, choose love first. And that's how we were raised. And so I just can't be bothered to be around people like that. So cutting people out was never a problem for me. And this is another channel where people can come and talk about having to, you know, get people out of their lives or, limit contact with people who, are part of the MAGA cult. And let's face it, it's a cult. Sorry, guys. I know some people don't want to hear that. It is a cult. It has all the signs, has all of the, if you look up the behaviors of people in cults, it's pretty consistent with that. So at this point, I don't think there's much arguing about it anymore. But you know, this is definitely a channel, for people who want to come and vent their frustrations about that. I'm definitely, open for that, and I definitely understand. I mean, I've had to cut people off for other reasons, and it's not something that anybody takes pleasure in doing is cutting people out. I've had to cut people out for other reasons, um, and it's never something that I feel good about because um, it's a last resort for a lot of people, and so this is definitely a channel where, I want people to come and vent their frustrations with, what's going on in the world, what's going on in their families, what's going on in the church, all that kind of stuff. So that's my hope for this channel. Anyways, I'm going to duck out and get started with work for the day. I hope you guys have a wonderful